Hey, shalom, 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 shalom. You're once again, you're not under the sounds of the voice of your brother, your Ak, Kahan, Taza, Dark Star C from the Ninth Galaxy, coming at you through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shalom, on this beautiful, 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 rainy Shabbat day. So, with that being said, this is not legal advice. I did not offer legal advice. If you need legal advice, seek yourself a competent counsel, and then please be advised. Everything that I'm about to give you is strictly for educational, entertainment, and informational purposes only. It's not to be taken or misconstrued as legal advice. So I'm coming at you live from both on Facebook, and I'm coming at you live on YouTube channel, The Undaunted National. So that's what it is. You could tune into either of those. I'm on both Facebook under Taza Doc Shaw and on the YouTube channel, The Undaunted National. So this is kind of, again, like a prerequisite to the seminar that's actually going to be in Orlando, Florida on July the 28th and 29th. And so that's going to be located at the date, should I say, is going to be July 28th and 29th from 12 noon to 6 p.m. on both days. The address is the Delta Orlando Lake Buena Vista 12490 South Apaca Villain Road, Orlando, Florida 32836. That's 12490 South Apopka Vineland Road, Orlando, Florida 32836. You can RSVP now by simply going to the Cash App and donating that way at cash.me/$ Doc Shaw. Or, of course, you could go to the website, www.truedisciplesofchrist.org/shop. Donate that way. Or you could go to the website, www.creditors-debtors-contracts-and-commerce.org, and donate that way. So some of the things that you're actually going to learn at the seminar is going to be some things that you actually never learned at other seminars, such as how to properly and effectively do the commercial lien process, how to really deal with these patriots that really don't want you to actually assert your rights, how to beat criminal charges in maritime amity courts role play, how Taza Doc properly discharge debts with the accepted for value method, how to deal with property taxes, how to expunge a criminal record, how to properly construct writs and affidavits, how to handle your own court cases, and how to effectively and properly become a secured party creditor. So if you have not RSVP'd your seat, you want to get that done as soon as possible. So if you're in the Florida area and you've never heard of this kind of stuff, you definitely want to come out. So, but what I wanted to talk to you about today is like a prerequisite to that particular creditor seminar. If you're not attending the seminar, this information is still vital for you to know. So I'm going to call this lecture right here, Asserting Your Rights and Being Successful as a Secure Party Creditor, some more Taza Doctrine. So this show, and for those of you that's not aware, we have a radio show, Right Knowledge Radio, every Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Talk Show. And that radio show, you can't find the information on this radio show anywhere else on earth unless you engage an Israelite camp that's actually teaching the truth. But you're still not going to find contract law taught the way that Taza Doc teaches it. I'm not being proud for anything. I'm just telling you that I'm the man that the Most High has actually set up in the nation of Israel to teach you this. Everything else is a carbon copy and a clone, but they're not the original Taza Doc. So, so this particular radio show is ordained by Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, to teach you the truth. We teach the true light of Yahweh's word. We teach the true light of the word. The book of Jeremiah 3 verse 15 says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart. See, I don't speak what you want to hear. I speak the truth. I speak according to thus saith the Lord, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So I feed you at my seminars with knowledge and understanding. I feed you on these live streams with knowledge and understanding. If you can receive it. Many people can't receive it. If you can receive it. So this is what actually occurs each time that you tune into Taza Doc's live streams, that you tune into Right Knowledge Radio on TalkShoe.com. And by the way, that call-in number is 724-444-7444. And the call ID is 122643. Hope to see you there next Tuesday night, most high willing. So this is what's actually occurring each time that you listen to anyone from the true disciples of Christ. And so the book of Romans says, what advantage have the Jew? So what advantage do you have being an Israelite? You have the advantage because you know that you're supposed to keep the laws. Or what profit is there of circumcision? Yeah, what's the profit of being a Hebrew Israelite? What does it truly profit you for being under, the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High and keeping the laws? Much every way is what the scriptures say, chiefly because that unto them are committed the oracles of Yahweh. So they're committed to the nation of Israel, these law, statutes, and commandments. So each week that you tune into that radio show on Right Knowledge Radio, each time that you click on one of Taza Doc's shards or the Disciples of Christ live streams, you learn who you are and how to understand the Bible, but not only the Bible, but common law. These are the major advantages that you're actually gaining from this. Do you understand? That's the advantage. So the book of 2nd Esdras in the Apocrypha says that in the 16th chapter, verse 74, Hear, O ye, my beloved. Who's the beloved of the Most High? The nation of Israel, Yasha Allah. Saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand. Many of you, you're already experiencing this trouble. Some of you, it's exceedingly difficult for you. You can't pay your bills. You can't pay your rent. You can't pay your utility bill. Your woman wants to leave you because you can't keep a job because Esau is plotting against the family. So the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Verse 75, be ye not afraid, neither doubt. So if you have a debtor's mind state, if you doubt that the secured party creditor process will work, this is not for you. The Most High said, don't be afraid. So my question to you is, why are you afraid when you're going into these colorable courts? Why are you afraid to assert your right? He that fails to assert his right has none. You don't have any rights if you're afraid to assert them. Understand that. Be not afraid, neither doubt, for Yahweh is your God. So when you hear Taza Doc speaking on the live streams, on the YouTube channel, Deprogramming Lightning, or on the YouTube channel, The Undoing International, or on the YouTube channel, A Spokesman for Men, you see the entity Taza Doc, but it's the Most High and Christ speaking through me. Half of the time, I don't even know what I'm going to say. So the book of Revelations 12, verse 12 says, therefore, rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, the word woe means destruction. So the peoples in heaven supposed to be rejoicing, the angels and the prophets. Then it says, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Why is it saying woe? Why is the Most High bringing destruction? Because you don't want to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. You don't want to obey. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath. So Esau is turning up the heat, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. So the rulers of this world, spiritual wickedness and principalities in high places, They know that they have a short time, so they're coming down harder on you. They create all kind of statues to get you on something so that they can lock you up. They keep promoting interracial dating. They keep promoting homosexuality. They keep promoting lesbianism. Why? Because they want you to stray away from the Lord's statutes and commandments of the Lord thy power. That way, he can extend his rulership. This is why you're still in captivity, because you keep breaking the laws. So having this knowledge gives you a great advantage, family. The Most High is allowing you to prepare for what's coming by listening to men like Taza and other men out there that's actually teaching the truth. See, all of the other nations, brothers and sisters, they're doomed. Because at one time or another, all of these other nations had the nation of Yasha Allah in captivity. But when you look in the biblical history, they're not referred to, by certain titles. There's 18 original nations. Understand that. If you ever seen my video on that, it's a good idea to go look at the 18 original nations. So the Most High is allowing you to prepare for salvation by listening to men like Taza, and you can get some remedy right here. See, all of the other nations are doomed. And you Israelites that teach salvation for these nations that the Most High say is doomed, you're condemned as well. You're not teaching the truth. You're not teaching the truth. You're teaching salvation for the nations. You got this new love the nation spirit, but you don't want to save your own. If you want to be mad at someone, then be mad with the Most High in Christ. Did not the Lord say in the book of Isaiah 30, verse 15, for thus saith the Lord? Who said that? The Father said that. The Lord God. When it says the Lord God, it's saying the Lord Yahweh, the Holy One of Yasha Allah. In returning and rest shall ye be saved, and quietness and confidence shall be your strength, and ye would not. So you got to be confident. When you go into a colorable court, you got to be confident that the Most High is going to speak through you for you. You can't go in with fear. You have to be totally undaunted. Undaunted. You have to be a totally undaunted national. Why do you think I came up with the name for the channel? You just think I'm creating these things because they sound good? Why do you think I came up with the name Deprogram Enlightener? Because the Most High sent me to deprogram you and then enlighten you with the knowledge of the Bible, of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, and the knowledge of the common law. Understand that. See, these people that's coming after you, these rogue agents, these policymakers, these cops, these constables on patrols, these federal agents, these alphabet groups, these are top demons that, many of you could be a witness. Sometimes they come on the talk show and all kind of wicked spirits come out. All kind of wicked spirits come out trying to distract the message, trying to take away from the message. See, that's Satan at work. These are top demons. It's top spirits of evil that comes in the room. And every time you can bear witness, no matter what type of video I put out, there comes along a demon that try and give it a thumbs down because they can't handle the truth. The truth really bothers them and it stirs something up in them. This is how you know when someone's demonically possessed and they're dealing with an unclean spirit. These are top demons. They hate it when you say the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, because that name, those names carry certain vibrations. It's not the same thing as saying the name of God and Christ. When you say that name, Ba'ashem HaMashiach Yahweh Shah, that bothers those demons. They can't deal with that, man, because that name carries a certain vibration. It's sending a certain vibration in the air, and those demons can't handle that. So they try and put demons on you. They try to distract you. They try and say bad things about Taza so you won't receive the message. Do you understand? The book of Jeremiah 16, verse 16 says, thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see and ask for the old paths. Where is the good way? and walk therein. So you got to ask the people that has the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, like Taza Doc Shaw, which the good way? And I'm going to tell you, thus saith the Lord. Just follow, thus saith the Lord. You're supposed to ask those that are knowledgeable with this. Where is the good way? And then you walk in that way. You got to walk circumspectively, though, because there's a lot of false Christ. There's a lot of false prophets. And ye shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So to most people, 2/3 of the nation of Yasha Allah, said Taza, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just not going to do that. You got a lot of sisters that are saying, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to obey no man. But she think that she has a place in her husband. Men didn't say that. Men didn't make that up. Who said that? The Lord said that. The Lord gave you a commandment to honor your father, honor your husband as you do the Lord. How many women could really honestly say that they're doing that? Very, very few. Because as soon as he says something that you don't like, you get blown out of place. The scriptures also says in Ephesians, men, love your wives as you love yourself. How many of you could say that you're honestly doing that? If you're not, you may want to delve into yourself. You want to look at yourself in the mirror of truth and say, hey, I'm messed up, and change all of that. See, most of these nations, brothers and sisters, they are mad that you so-called blacks, you so-called Hispanics, you so-called Native Americans are the chosen people of Yahweh. You got Eves that come on Facebook talking about the 12 tribe chart is wrong, but they won't keep the laws of the Most High, but they won't listen to their husbands. But they want to be out front like that woman Deborah of the Watchman Yahoo crap, whatever that is. That woman's ahead of her husband. But when I ask them to justify their accusations, they can't do it. These are top demons that they want to stop the truth. So I'm not wasting time, and we're not wasting time on someone that does not want to be taught. So this goes for your family members and everybody. Did not Mashiach Yahweh say, he come to set variant between the mother and the daughter, between the father and the son, between the sister and the brother. He come to set variant. So I'm not in the business of trying to teach someone or to convince someone that don't want to be taught. If you don't want to hear what's stated here, don't come on the channel and make a lot of negative comments, because I'm going to say peace, 2 fingers, shalom, have a nice day. That's it. And Rachel or KO is going to block your behind. Understand that. So your tolerance, or my tolerance for buffoonery, is 0 here. In fact, it's sub-0. So when you are in these churches, and even many of these Israelite camps that has these 501c3 grants, this 501c3 and C4 status, the government gives you what you want. But what do you want? You don't want to pay taxes. But this also gives the government authority to tell you what you could say. And there's many Israelite camps out there like that, but you're censored on what you could say. And some of you, you're so damn naive, you'll go out and you speak against homosexuals anyways. And you'll speak against lesbianism anyways. And you'll speak against the government anyways. And then you wonder why, what happened to the discomforter at the Israelite Church of God in Jesus Christ as to why he got arrested and taken into custody, because they have a 501c3 status, and the man wants to speak out against these things. But it's not going to stop with that school. It's not going to stop with that camp. Oh, you're going to learn. See, Yahweh Shah separated himself from the government. And why did he do that? Because he's going to return to destroy this current government according to the Bible. And all of you join on to it with your 501c3 status that think you're going to make it, woe is you. How can you be joined on to a government that Hamashiach tells you that he's coming back to destroy? I want you to think about that, man. I want all of your members in these camps that's under these people that have this 501c3 status. How can you be joined on to a government that Hamashiach said he's coming back to destroy? You prove it, Taza. Okay, I will. Let's look at the book of Isaiah, the 9th chapter, verse 6, to prove all things. For unto us a child is born. Unto who? Yasha'Allah, the children of God. Unto us a son is given, and the government, it doesn't say a government, it says the government, which is a definite article, which means there's only going to be one government upon his return. And the government is going to be ruling the entire earth, so that you can understand. So Trump and company, see ya, and I wouldn't want to be you. And the government shall be upon his shoulders, and his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father. Why is he going to be everlasting? Because his kingdom is going to last forever. The Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace, there shall be no end. So that means it's going to last forever. So this government that he's bringing is going to last forever. And upon the throne of David and upon the kingdom to order it and to establish it with judgment. So he's going to judge. He's going to bring judgment against everyone that's not doing thus saith the Lord. And with justice from henceforth, even forever. So this government is going to last forever according to the Bible. The zeal of the Lord of hosts. What is this host that he's talking about? That's talking about the army. That's talking about an army of 144,000 purified ones and a legion of angels. Understand that. That's the host. That's the army. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will perform this. So when the scriptures say a son be given to us, it implies the Savior's deity. He existed before his birth. He was already back there with Yahweh. When you read in the book of Genesis, let us make man, what do you think they was talking about? You go and read in the book of John. It says in the beginning, and the word was God, and the word was God, and the word was with God. That word was Hamashiach Yahushua. So he just came back to earth in the form of a man. He's been here several times, reincarnated. Understand that. So although he existed in the form of God, he did not manifest himself as God when he allowed them to crucify him on the cross. Because if he was not crucified on the cross, the whole nation of Yasha'Allah would have been destroyed. When Caesar told Hamashiach Yahushua, answer me, don't you know I have the power to put you to death? I have the power to give life and cause death. Hamashiach, Christ could have said to him, look, man, you don't have no power over me. I could kill you right now if I want to, simply by raising my finger. But that wasn't his mission at that particular time. His mission was to die for the sins of the nation of Israel. Do you understand? He was a sacrificial lamb. But when he's coming back the second time in the book of Revelations, the 19th chapter, he's seeing him coming with a sword and a bloody garment because he's coming for war, to make war, not peace. It ain't going to be no darn peace like they falsely tell you in these churches. Do you understand? Do you understand? So he's taken the form of, he took on the form of a bond servant and being made in the likeness of men. Book of Philippians. Who being in the form of God thought it not robbery to be equal with God, but made himself of the reputation and took upon him the form of a servant and was made in the likeness of men. He came as the Son of God in the human flesh to conquer the sins and the death of Israel. He had to come as a man so the man could understand that if I could walk this earth as a man and not sin, then you could do it too. It says, be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. But Esau tells you, and the preachers tells you, I can't be perfect. No one's perfect. You see, that's an excuse not to be perfect. Because when we read the book of Job, chapter 1, verse 8, it says, Job was a perfect and upright man. Does not the scripture tells you to be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect? You was made in the image and likeness of God. Why do you keep placing limitations on God? You are God when your mind is right, when your spirit is right. But if you look at many of these Israelites, many of you will not support the truth. You're supposed to be donating to the priests and the prophets of Yahweh. You make it seem like you've done something great because you might have donated a couple $100. Man, you can miss me with that. Or some of you say, Taza, I gave $1,000 for the secure party creditor packet. And you feel like you've done something amazing. You feel like you've done a favor. But do you realize the reward that you're receiving for just $1,000 of fiat? Do you realize the reward that you're receiving? If you apply this, if you apply these tactics that I teach in my books and these videos, you don't realize the reward that you're receiving, man. You don't realize the freedom that you're actually gaining because you really don't understand what's going on here. You just say that you do. How much have you invested in this world? You talking about a damn $1,000. How many damn pair of Jordans have you bought in your lifetime? How many pair of True Religion jeans have you bought in your lifetime? How many gold chains or diamond rings have you bought in your lifetime? How many fancy cars have you bought in your lifetime? And you gonna cry over a damn $1,000? What did that stuff get you? Nothing. Just gave you a feeling. And then if you spent that damn fiat, you didn't have the fiat that you need to pay your bills. So now your woman's mad with you. Your rib's mad with you. But if you invest in becoming a secure party creditor, man, this changes your life forever. This is a lifetime investment. So my question becomes, what are you waiting for to become a secure party creditor? You love being a debtor. How much have you invested in the world? That's the question. Many of you won't donate. See, you're supposed to donate to the priest of the Most High. The government that will rest on the shoulders of Yahweh Shah affirms his lordship. This verse looks to a time still in the future. It hasn't happened yet. When Yahweh Shah will range over the entire earth, the whole geographical population. All kingdoms will be encompassed by his rule. All the kingdoms and all governments of the world will be under his authority. The book of Daniel says it like this, in the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings, in the days of the people that's going to be ruling at that particular time, because no man knoweth the hour. There's been a lot of people that pretend they knew when he was going to return. No one knows them time and hour. Yahweh Shah said that himself. And in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. So the kingdom that Christ is coming to set up is going to never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. That means that wait. They're not teaching this in church. It says the kingdom will not be left to other people. That means that other nations are not going to come in. They're going to be in the outer court. When you read it in the book of Revelations, they're going to be kept in the outer court. Only Yasha Allah is going to be allowed in the inner court. So the kingdoms, after they go into captivity, the nations, they're going to be made to stay out in the outer court, and they're going to be forced to keep these laws. Otherwise, they're not going to make it in the kingdom. We're going to put your ass to death, man. And this is not a joke. You can think it's funny all you want to, man. So, and the kingdom in the days of these kings shall the power of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break into pieces and consume these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Forever. So we're going to rule forever. So you could go ahead and enjoy your little fame right now, Esau, Rothschilds, Rockefellers. Go ahead and enjoy your little stuff right now, because your kingdom is coming to an end. You're always talking about the day of the Lord, the day of your Lord. Yeah, what the hell is it unto you? Death and destruction. The book of Zechariah, the 14th chapter, verse 9 says, and the Lord shall be king over all the earth. The Lord shall be king over all the earth. In that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. So we speak so boldly because we know the truth. This is why I come and speak so boldly. I know how this thing's going to turn out, man. I don't fear Trump. I'll speak in front of Trump, Donald Duck Trump, the same damn way I'll speak to a homeless man on the street. He don't have no power over me, man. We're all equal under the law. I have one sovereign power, and that's Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, man. Trump don't have no authority over me, man. I'm not part of their society. So we speak boldly, man. If he's not in compliance with thus saith the Lord, what do I care about what he has to say? What do I care about angering them? See, like the days of old when miracles was actually worked, many Israelites still not believe, and many of you won't believe and accept this truth today. Many of you are that secure party creditor stuff is a scam. One woman came on a few weeks ago, said the only one that's benefit from it is Taza because she didn't understand it. She doesn't understand it. So when people don't understand things, they get mad, they get frustrated. But they're going to look and say, well, I just don't understand this. This is too complicated for me. They have a reprobate mind. So they look for someone to blame. There must be someone that I could place the blame on, because it can't be me that I'm incompetent. I'm a ward of the state. It can't be that she lack understanding, but it really is. Do you understand? Do you understand? See, Hamashiach said, I am the way and the truth and the life. John 14:6. See, no politician can match that. Donald Trump can't match that. Barack Obama couldn't match that. No one can match that. He to whom all must ultimately return and trust. Do you understand? See, many of your politicians turn everywhere else for counsel. You do too. You turn to the Democratic Party. You turn to the Republican Party. You turn to being a damn Marxist. You turn to being a feminist. You turn to the LGBT community or whatever. When all your counsel is supposed to come from the Lord. You leaning on another man. All your counsel is supposed to come from the Lord. You turn to psychologists. You turn to psychiatrists. You turn to analysts. You turn to philosophers. You turn to spiritual advisors. You turn to gurus. You see all these damn people on the internet. And many of you under the sound of my voice right now, you're guilty of listening to them. I was listening to this damn one clown and it's always usually the so-called black woman, Eve. Your mind be messed up. You can listen to all of these, you're into this free spirit madness. You listen to all of these damn spirits when the Bible says any spirit that's not of the spirit of Christ is anti-Christ. So if these people are talking about something spiritual and all of that, and they're not mentioning the name of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah, don't listen to them. Don't listen to him. That spirit is not of Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shah. You got all kind of people talking all kind of stuff and sounding really intelligent, and they putting demons on you, man. He's separating you from the Lord. If they're not coming with thus saith the Lord, why are you listening to them? You see a lot of people that's secure party creditors. They're not mentioning the name of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shah. They're just I'm knowledgeable and the Big Bang Theory and and this is all spiritual and the meditation, but they don't mention the name of the Lord. So who do you think they're meditating to? They're meditating to Satan. They're meditating to Satan. How are you going to communicate with the Most High if you're not calling on his name? How do you communicate with Yahweh Shah if you're not calling on his name? Say his name. How you getting his attention? Because Satan is a roaring lion. He's always roaming the earth. What happened when Job's sons would go to the altar? Satan came with him. Most High said, from whence comest thou, Satan? He say, I've been going to and fro in the earth and up and down in it, seeing if I could find someone to get the scent and break these laws. So if you're not calling a name, guess who? It's communicating with you, Satan. Satan. Do you understand? But you should be communicating with the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. All counsel should come from him. The book of Isaiah 40 verse 13 says, have directed the Spirit of the Lord, or being his counselor, have taught him. Man, nobody taught Hamashiach Yahushua, man. The book of Jeremiah 17 verse 5 say, cursed be the man that trusteth in man and make his flesh his arm. Meaning you leaning on another man for support. This is what you do when you turn to everyone except for God and Christ. Colossians, the 4th chapter, verse 6 says, let your speech always be gracious, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how you ought to answer a person. Some of you're so damn rude. You don't have any decorum. Someone say something you don't like, boom, your emotions kick in like a jet, like the road runner. Meet me. Just your mouth, just jaw chatting, just running off at the mouth. But does not the scripture say be quick to listen and so slow to speak and slow to anger? So it is imperative, family, if you want to be successful in life, if you want to be successful as a secure party creditor, that your communication reflect that of Yahushua. Communication is defined as the art in exchanging of one's thoughts, feelings, and ideas. That's communication. See, the fullness of your life and your status and your level of achievement that you experience will be determined by the quality and perception of the interaction that you have with others. How do you treat other people? How do you deal with them? You're always angry, always yelling. How do you deal with other people? You need to look at yourselves, man. You really need to look at yourself. See, learning to properly communicate with others effectively is imperative to building and maintaining a strong relationship, whether that's a loving relationship, a personal relationship, a business relationship, it does not matter. Any kind of relationship, being able to effectively communicate and to connect and clearly convey your message is essential to living and being blessed in life by the Most High, how the Most High intended you to be. And if you can't do that, you're never going to be effective as a secure party creditor. In fact, you're not going to be a secure party creditor because debtors like to argue, jaw chatting, always running off at the mouth, jaw chatting. Learn to listen sometime, beloved. See, the most important aspect, how many of you are really listening? I know you hear my words, some of you busy doing other things. Some of you busy in the room, like, arguing and so on and so forth. But how many of you really listen? See, one must always seek first to discern the needs and the concerns of others before interjecting your own opposing view. How about that? How about looking at yourself in the mirror of truth? Unfortunately, for most people, it's about I, me, me, me. I want this. I want that. They want to place their needs first. So in order to properly place others before you interject, you must show love. I don't mean this emotional madness. I mean the love of Yahweh. So 1 Corinthians 13 verse 8 says, love never faileth. Love never faileth. So if you want to properly give love, James chapter 1 verse 19 says, be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. You ever notice that you have two ears and one mouth? That means more than likely you're supposed to listen twice as much as you are to speak. Do you understand? Learn to listen. Your jaw chatting is always getting you in trouble. So I reiterate, always seek to discern the needs and concerns of others before interjecting your own. The most important key to communication, again, is listening. Listening. Remember, slow to speak and quick to listen and slow to anger. For this allows you to accurately digest the other person's viewpoint. Do you understand? If you want to be a creditor, you're going to have to learn this because you need to be able to communicate effectively. Why am I teaching you this? Because this is imperative for the mind state of a creditor. Most people think they don't need most of the stuff that I taught and teach. You just want to file paperwork. That's not enough, man. You have to have the proper mind state. You have to have the proper mind state to be a secured party creditor. You must be in the proper mind state. So this also requires you to be focused and actively engaged, not just thinking about what you're going to say after the other person finished speaking. No, man. It's more than that. Do you understand? Do you understand? You must also detect the emotions, attention to the voice inflection, the body language, the nonverbal expressions. See, your goal should be to gain a deeper understanding of their word and how they see things. If you truly want to understand that person, this is where many of your relationships fell. This is where many of your marriages fell. Ineffective communication. So more often than not, the essential part of the messages get lost in your translation because you're really not listening. And so this is what happened. This is why I have to tell you, watch the video no less than 5 times. Why? Because that way I know it's going into your subconscious mind, because most of the time you're not really listening. You're listening to what you want to hear. You're listening with itching ears, but you're not truly listening to everything that I'm saying. See, truly successful dialogue hinges on precise, accurate interpretation. Don't just hear what I say, that you are receiving it the way that it's actually intended to be received. Some of you don't listen with so you get all blown out of, please, oh, what did you mean by that? Who the heck he is calling me a debtor? It will help you to prevent any argument or any misunderstanding from arising out of that particular conversation or that dialogue. So to become an extremely powerful communicator, one must develop a personal connection with the speaker. And you have to be a good listener to do so. See, I know you hear me right now, but do you really hear me? How many of you really hear me, what I'm saying right now? See, doing this, being a good listener, it requires acknowledging me and validating my opinion and searching for some type of common ground between you and I. Do you understand? See, if you want to effectively communicate with me, you must find out what's important to me. Do you understand? Same thing about you. I know this. If I want to find out what's important to you, I must effectively communicate with you. Do you understand, Brother Ricky? Do you understand? Because effective communication is learned through skill. You got to practice it over and again. And the more that you practice it, the more you could actually master it when you interact with others. See, now, with that being said, trying to teach you how to communicate effectively, there's a new common law copyright that I've actually constructed for entertainment purposes only. So Most High has a funny way of doing things. So with this new revised version of the common law copyright that I'm going to be actually replacing and packaged, it becomes even easier to use on the spot or upon mailing if necessary. New common law copyright. Why is this necessary? Because many of these minions of these policymakers, these cops, are getting out of control. So what I suggest for educational purposes only is that you make a front and back copy. If you have this from the secure party creditor packet, you make a front and back copy of that common law copyright and you carry it with you. If you actually have the secure party creditor packet, you carry the common law copyright, carry a copy of it with you as a single page. And so this in particular live stream, I'm going to right now go over how that common law copyright is intended to be used. And I'll put one on the screen at the seminar next week, most high willing. So you can see what I'm talking about, this common law copyright. Now, to understand this, even though that the common law copyright is on a public record, if you filed your secure party creditor packet, certain documentations needs to actually be served on the party that's actually violating your right. Do you understand? So the process for serving the common law copyright at this point is very, very simple. Now, at this creditor seminar that we're going to be doing in Florida next week, there's going to be an example of the common law copyright and how it should be filled out. Now, there are two scenarios that you will have to generally use this particular common law copyright. One of the scenarios is actually if you present it in person. You will actually fill out the part where it says notice provided under the certified mailing tracking number, and you serve it on that person. And so you want to put in the particular, date and so on and so forth. For example, July the 21st, 2018. Now, the other alternative is that you're going to provide this to them by certified mail. And if that's the case, you're going to write in the certified mail tracking number. Now, regardless of how you provide the person with this common law copyright, the person that have violated your rights, I'm talking about, either in person or by mail, you want to make sure that, you make a copy of the person that is actually being served on. Now, if it's being provided by mail, it's easy to make a copy. So I suggest for educational purposes, writing in the name and the address of the party that it's actually being sent to, if it's actually provided by the person. So if you don't know the name and the address and the policeman is refusing to give his name, at least get his badge number. Get his badge number. So for educational purposes only. Now, if you're serving it in purpose, obviously you're not going to have a copy of with you right there. So what I would do is I would take a snapshot of that common law copyright with my phone and I'll email it to myself so I can have a backup copy of that common law copyright showing that I served it on this policeman. So if you're mailing it in, make sure to copy it for your records as well. See, I keep the original and I send the copy to whoever I'm actually serving it on. Otherwise, I'll produce an original and send to them, and then I'll keep an original for myself or a copy of that original for myself. But if you're providing it in person, again, you must make sure that, you take a snapshot of that common law copyright for your records. Because it's very unlikely that you're going to be traveling around with a portable printer in your back seat, because you may need this as prima facie evidence at a later date. Do you understand? Now, am I suggesting you do this? No. I'm telling you what I would do. So the next thing I'd like to discuss with you, so that you could actually be prepared for the seminar, is actually identification cards. these state issue ID cards. And now I want you to be very mindful that state issue ID cards leads to adhesion contracts. And it is suggested, for educational purposes only, that if you do not have to obtain a state ID card, then don't do it. Don't do it unless you need it. Now, there are many other forms of identifications available, including the secured party creditor ID card, the attorney in fact ID card, the American National ID card, the ID card that you could actually get from RV Bay, and so on and so forth. And pretty soon, for educational purposes, we'll have the resources to produce some of these ID cards. Now, it is by no means necessary for educational purposes only to use these state ID cards. I'm aware of many people, including myself, in the past that did not use these state issue ID cards for a great deal of years. Now, sometimes I use them because I travel and I have to be involved in commerce. Otherwise, I don't use them. But the ones that I do use, you can best believe that I have my rights reserved on that particular instrument, either with UCC 1-308 or all rights reserved. Do you understand? However, if it is your choice, to use a state issue ID card, I suggest that when you are obtaining or applying for them for educational and informational purposes only, when you are obtaining or applying for these state instruments, that you read the contract thoroughly. You read the contract thoroughly that you are agreeing to, and that you also reserve your rights. For instance, you can reserve your rights by UCC 1-308 or without prejudice, all rights reserved. Or as a last resort, you could use qualifiers such as under duress, or without consent, or by force, signed by force, or even under threat and coercion. So if none of these options are available to you, I would suggest signing with the all capital letters name in representation of the trust, if they will allow you to write trust after the signature, or just simply incorporate it therein in the all capital letters formation. That will work as well. Now, you want to keep this in mind, because if you don't reserve your rights, you are consenting. You are consenting to the adhesion contracts that comes with these state ID cards. Do you understand? So I need you to understand this. Understand this. Understand that anytime you are asking for something or obtaining a service from the government, you are contracting and granting them jurisdiction. Do you understand? So anytime you ask the government for anything, you are giving them jurisdiction. You are contracting with them, especially when you are actually cleaning up the citizenship and residency and domicile madness. When you go back and you ask for something within their jurisdiction, it is tantamount to giving them jurisdiction. So thus, if you do not want to give them jurisdiction for educational purposes only, it is strongly suggested to do either of the following that I'm about to tell you. Not contract with them, if possible. Do not use an address for educational purposes that is within that jurisdiction for educational purposes only. And I do not check any of their boxes that grants them jurisdiction by claiming residency or domicile in their little check boxes. Do you understand? So many of you might ask the question, well, Taza, when do I sign as the debtor and when do I sign as the secured party creditor? You believe it or not, you got people that's actually secure party creditors, and they don't know when to sign as a debtor or when to sign as a secure party creditor. Many of you have actually filed and became secure party creditor status, yet you still behave like debtors. You simply do not understand the contract, which is the law. So you ask the question, when do I sign as the living soul, the secure party creditor, or when do I sign as the debtor trust? How can you be a secure party creditor and not know this? Because you haven't been studying, like I suggested. The secure party creditor, it is very simple to comprehend. To determine which signature you're using in a particular venue in which you may have actually been assigned to, if you're acting publicly, 9 times out of 10, you want to protect yourself. So, and generally, is typical to act through the transmitting utility trust, thus signing in the capacity of TTEE, which stands for trustee, meaning that you are signing as a trustee on behalf of the trust, all rights reserved. UCC 1-308 without prejudice, all rights reserved. It is imperative that you remember anytime you are acting publicly, you are entering into a public contract and that you should reserve your rights. Do you understand? For educational purposes only. So many of you, you've expressed that you want to open a bank account, but you don't want to use a social security number. Well, let me talk to you about that for a minute. I'm giving you a lot of vital information here. But nevertheless, you want to open a bank account, but you don't want to use a social security number? This is entirely possible if you know the law, the contract, and it is doable without a complicated issue. If you understand what you're doing, which is why you should be reading my books and watching my DVDs. Please note that a social security number will have to be on file. This is how these banks operate, but it doesn't have to be your own for educational purposes. It could be one of the beneficiaries for the secure party creditor trust. Do you understand? Do you understand? Using identification such as the secure party creditor identification, attorney in fact ID, and so on and so forth, or the world-class passport, and a foreign address could work just well for you. So if you have a foreign address of your own, and you're able to apply that and use a W-8 bank, then you will actually be able to get this stuff on a record, create an account without using the social security number of your own. Do you understand? Do you understand? So, in law, I know most of you probably understand this. Many may be listening that may not. In law, what is a person? Because there's some people that I actually asked to tune into this live stream, and they're tuning in for the first time, and they really don't understand what a person is. So in law, what is a person? What is a person in law? How many knows what a person really is? In law, what does the word person mean? In common parlance, I know you know what it means. The word person is generally a word that could actually be limited to a statutory rule. The word person. Many of you see it on your documents, say person. Think it's talking about another man or woman. The Latin word nasciterus sacies It's the rule of the Nasita teaches that the meaning of the word in a statute may be determined by reference to his associations with the other words in that phrase. So the word person could be determined based on how it's actually being used in accordance with other words in that phrase. The meaning in another instance is associated with a corporation. A corporation is an artificial person or a legal entity created by or under the authority of laws of a state or nation. That's a corporation. Look it up in Blackboard's Dictionary, 6th edition. They tell you that a corporation is a person. They tell you that a corporation is a person or a legal entity created by or under the authority of the state, an association of a person created by a statute or a legal entity. That's what a corporation is. The law treats the corporation itself as a person which can sue and be sued. The Washington State Session stated that in 1937, Chapter 2.7. So a corporation can sue you just like a person can. They tell you that a corporation is a person. Well, who created that? Their lawyers created that. The word person awards company herein. They use the word person interchangeably with a company, with a corporation. But then they tell you it means an individual, receiver, a signee, a trustee, a trust, an estate, a farm, a co-partnership, a joint venue, a club, a company, a joint stock company, a business, a trust, a municipal corporation, association, a society, or any group of individuals acting as a unit. All of this means corporation, a fraternity, a nonprofit, or otherwise. So in anticipation that the state will argue that there has been a change in the language of the state. So because a lot of them, well, that's what that said back then. That doesn't mean. So the state may try to argue and say, well, that language has changed. You know how they try and go and they change the definitions? If you look in Blackboard's Dictionary for a court of record in the 6th edition, it's not going to say the same thing as it says in the 4th. So they tell you that that changed. But what does the law say? The law says that the older definition will have supersedence. That the older definition is what's correct. Do you understand? You said, Taza Doc, show me the law. Well, I will. Have a look at Article 27, section of the Washington State Constitution. It states that previous rights, actions, and suits, proceedings, contracts, or claim shall continue as if no change had actually taken place. So the older laws which really affected, not what they're trying to rewrite. But they're able to pull that over on you because you don't know the law. The federal constitution also has similar provisions on one statute, 122, and 2 statute 298, and bring forward and certify and exemplify the law of the United States Constitution, Article 4, Section 1, 1787. It states that previously existing laws shall control. Previously existing laws shall control in case they try to make a new law. Do you understand? So why are you allowing them to pull this new stuff over on you when it's right there in their books? All you have to do is go and look at it. Go and look for it. What about these traffic stops? What about these police encounters? Now, anyone that, has actually been involved in a police stop or a traffic stop and has been tormented by these beasts, these constables on patrol, and if you had any kind of run-in with the law, you know that this situation, from this particular situation, could arise a potential damage.